Go.
Live.
We're live.
Live from New York.
Wow.
That is live from Concord,
That
California.
just happens way too often.
I know, it's a little
The way
weird.
we finish each other's sentences.
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches. Who's
It's a
got
little
sandwiches? All right, here we are.
In front of a live studio audience.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a live audience.
Everybody,
one-man audience.
Meet Tom, who is a Legion M investor and
One of the biggest
volunteer.
audiences we've had.
That is true. Our audience numbers are going through the roof.
Yes, exactly.
We're trending.
We're trending.
At Black Diamond Games. We are back here at our favorite place in the universe, Black Diamond Games, Concord.
Like them on Facebook.
Like
They've
them.
got a little ticker up there.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen us do that. We've got to actually bring that ticker up here sometime.
Ding, ding, ding.
No, but they have. If you haven't heard this, if you've heard this before, just
They've
but
already heard it.
they've got a great little. It's like one of those old-fashioned train station, bus station things. So like every time they get a like on Facebook, it goes.
Even though it's one like,
Boom.
It makes it seem like a lot of likes.
Yeah, it does. So anyway,
we need that.
We totally, that would do a lot for my self-esteem.
Yeah.
if at least once a day.
Once a day, you got
somebody liked
one
us.
like that made it feel like you had a legion of likes.
A legion of likes. Yeah,
legion of likes. There it is.
Cool. All right, we got way too
We've got
much
a massive
to talk about.
agenda. So first thing on the list. So round 5, probably like one of our most successful rounds to date.
Definitely, yeah. It's so if you haven't heard the news, it ends next Tuesday. No, sorry, Tuesday, Wednesday. Next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Is when the round ends. And so this has been, if you look at the ticker on WeFunder, which is over 4.5 million, and I haven't checked it recently.
The last round.
But yeah, that actually, it's a Reg A, right? This is where it starts to get confusing. We're doing a Reg A offering that encompassed round 4 and round 5. There's also a little bit of the round 3 transition money.
And the difference there was a change in price.
Yes, between round 4 and round 5, and round 3 and round 4.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Anyway, but yeah, so there's still a chance to get in if you're interested. And yeah, these rounds are like, this is fundamental to the company. We've raised about $9 million now, which is
incredible.
Amazing. And it's really still the ground floor. Like if you think about it, a $9 million raise is about like what a venture capitalist
like Series A round
would put in a Series A. And so, this puts us back at like where Facebook was when they were out of the dorm room, but they were probably still in the Palo Alto flop house, like chugging beers and jumping off the roof. And
which is what we're doing, basically.
Yeah, pretty much all day.
Pretty much all day. Don't we look nice today, by the way? I mean, geez, look at this guy. He's like taking it up a notch.
Well, I'm actually serving jury duty this week, which means I have 2 jobs. Today, during the day, I go to work for the American people. And at night, I come home
you're
and I
like
work
a superhero.
for Legion M.
Yeah, you're just
like that.
Championing justice.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's
Continue
this
thread.
thread.
Geez, you look like a GQ model or something. I can't take my eyes off it.
All right.
But on that note, so with this round closing, we are doing a last call for the founding investor shirts. So we put that out there, and actually, it's been overwhelming.
Yeah.
I think we're up to almost 1,000 shirts.
Yeah.
Which is just in this last rally. So
which is amazing.
Exciting.
Like it's really cool. And I think that the shirts are cool, but it's also, there's a whole blog post about this, but we're retiring the term founding investor. We talk a lot about how our whole company is built on this idea of uniting fans. And in that regard, an early investor is the exact same weight as the late investor.
Everybody matters.
Because we need all of them. We need the middle investors, and we're going to need the later. Like for us to be successful as the early investors, we need all the investors. And so we don't like to do things that kind of like classify. Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, all of you guys, if you've been in this, you're in the Series A, you're the founding investors.
Probably the riskiest, most of the time, the riskiest time.
Oh, for sure.
And the earliest time.
You'd have to be crazy. To invest.
I still think
in a Series A startup company. It's true, but sometimes you're crazy like a fox.
Crazy as a fox. Crazy works out. Well, in this case, hopefully it will. I don't know about you, but I'm more excited than ever. And I love just the fact that so many people are wanting that shirt,
Yeah.
I think it's symbolic. Like it represents something that I know it matters to all of us at Legion M, that like that pride of ownership, is exactly what we were hoping
the whole
for. Yeah.
business model
what
is
it's all about.
predicated upon. So
if you haven't ordered your founding investor shirt, get on there and get after it. We're going to keep it open until the round closes, maybe like a little bit after that. But then, and we'll have new investor shirts that we do in the future. But
not founding investor. We're basically retiring the term founding investor. So,
but but the round is gone well, and I think one thing that I want to do, I think we've always talked about Legion M being kind of like a snowball, and the way a snowball grows is the bigger it gets, the faster it grows, and because it's got more circumference area to pick up more snow. And we are a snowball. As a community, we're a snowball. And so what that means is we kind of, we put a little bit of the onus on our community to help us grow. And, these are things like in the future, we want to kind of give some more tools and make it easier. But I think a big part of our continued success is that people are out there telling their friends, and, they're excited and happy about the Legion and wanting to kind of evangelize it. But the more that we do that as a group, the better off the company is. Because when, we have organic that comes from our community, and when we don't, we're buying ads, and so with a lot of these rounds, we spend a decent amount of money to grow the Legion, because we feel like that, we know that is our strategic priority. If we can, the closer we get to our long-term goal, the more impactful we are. How many investors do we have now?
Well, so the official number is over 20,000.
Well,
and the thing is, it's not always easy to calculate, because we know, for example, if you look at the counter on WeFunder right now, it'll tell you there's like over 15,000 just in round 4 and round 5 alone. And we had before that
from other rounds.
Yeah, but so the thing is, because people invest multiple times, it's not until the round is done and then it closes that we kind of recalculate those numbers, and we can say for sure. But I think we're well over 20,000, and we're definitely we've more than doubled in 2019. And we just about doubled every calendar year since we started. And so that, to me, is like one of the most important signposts of our success. Like if you were evaluating Legion M as a company, when you evaluate a startup, like if you go back and think like
I'd evaluate it based on how the founders dress.
I think also the size of the crowd,
size of their audience.
No, but
and whether they do their civic duty.
That's right. I'm a really good juror.
You are.
I take it very seriously.
Number one juror.
But it's what I was saying is that if you're evaluating Apple or Disney or something like that, there's metrics, and they usually revolve around the finances of the company. Because for a mature company, if you're a movie studio, that's what you're buying into. When you're investing in a startup, it's like all bets are off, right? Like if you go back to, like Facebook, again, when they were at this stage, there's guys jumping off a pool. They weren't making enough money for people to say.
You always bring up the beer drinking and the pool party. Like,
is that
what you were hoping here?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that stage. This is my third startup, and I've never hit that stage.
We went go-karting
once. Yeah, that was great. Anyway, but the point of it is that, with the startup, it's about what are the metrics that tell you that this is going to succeed. And for Facebook in those early days, it was how many people were using their free service. And they weren't making money from that, but it's how many people were involved. And for us, it's about
because it's a social network. It matters how big it is.
Exactly.
And how connected it is.
And I think it's exactly the same for Legion M. The more investors we've got, the more powerful we are. And like you said,
are you saying we're like
snowball rolling down?
We're like Facebook?
Well, there is actually one other interesting parallel, which is their first URL was thefacebook.com.
Oh, that's
Our
true.
first URL was thelegion.com. And I know.
We've been channeling them.
We spent a lot of time investigating what made Facebook successful, and it really boiled down to
that URL.
Change.
Clearly. There's no question in my mind.
All right.
So, but anyway, so suffice it to say, round 5 is closing. Thank you. It's been amazing, and welcome to all the new investors, because we've got probably 10,000 new investors.
Over 100 a day, a lot of times. And so, we're going to do at the end of each round, once the fundraising closes, we usually do a deep dive where we'll come on and talk for
a worldwide toast.
Where we go through the business model and we go through deep updates and go through the development slate. And so we should be scheduling one of those within the next month or two.
Yeah, and we've already got some ideas on what we want to deep dive into. And I think we're going to talk a little bit more. We've done this before, but talk about the business. We're also going to go back and talk about the performance of our existing projects. And, what we learned from them, how well they did in certain categories. And so we'll have kind of like a report card metric for each one. And I think it'll be good. And we'll welcome everyone and answer any questions. And those they're much deeper dive than a half-hour Facebook Live update.
These are usually pretty,
casual. These deep
here's
dives,
our agenda, which
type it
this
out.
is typed. He's flexing right now.
I'm flexing. But those deep dives usually go 2 hours. I mean, we try to make it an hour, but it ends up going.
Once you wind us up, you can't stop us.
Oh my God! Yeah.
But it is. I mean, the fact is, there are
look,
hundreds
we are right
of pages.
Here on the agenda right now.
Hundreds of pages in our SEC filings. Which, by the way, I didn't know that we ever even mentioned this, but we filed our second half financials. And the story is really starting to come together. I think there's some good numbers on the revenue side. And what it gets me the most excited, and there's a blog post about this as well on the Legion M blog about how we make money. But if you look at what we've done, we have sat in almost every single position in the value chain, starting with on the creative side, developing new projects, going all the way through the distribution side where we bought a movie and we're distributing it. We've done equity financing and P&A financing. We've done merchandising. We've done live events. It's really remarkable all the ways that we've been able to kind of test and learn and see where we can bring our Legion to bear. And a lot of these experiments were done back when we had a Legion of 3,000 people or 5,000 people. And so now as we grow and these opportunities come to us, we feel like we're very well equipped to say, okay, here's where we can make a difference and here's where we want to focus our time and money.
Yeah, and it's important for us, a lot of people will look at the company and say, okay, well, how did this project do? How did that project do? And, I think they should do that. But in general, the way we look at kind of growing an organization like Legion M, which we expect will be around for many years and will be massively bigger than we are today. A lot of what we're doing now is learning, and Jeff and I are big believers in there's a book called The Lean Startup where you are really trying things and you're learning from them. And, trying those all these different prototypes that we've had on projects has been invaluable. I mean, the data that we have from that and knowing now all right, when we couple that with an increase, now we're 4 to 5 times bigger than we were when we did that project. We know that it will look like this, and it just makes us better at being able to negotiate. And, I think it just allows us to sort of consider, because I think we do want to participate in a lot of different points in the value chain. And ultimately at scale, we might be every point of that value chain. That's not something that's not something we're trying to do right now, but we're not ruling it out. And even merch is something that to be honest, early on, we thought, merch will be something that we want to kind of dip a toe into. And what we've learned is merch is really valuable. It's not only valuable in building the fandom, which helps the project, and it's kind of like the flywheel effect. You end up, you're making money and kind of supporting the project in a unique way. And it's something that we can oftentimes get the rights to. But then you're helping your investment in your project because now you've got, a bigger, stronger fandom for the project. So anyway, it's good.
I think that's well said. We should keep going.
So speaking of which, Sundance. So we've teased this out. We've mentioned this. We are for sure going to be back at Sundance this year, and we're going to do Film Scout again. So I think we had a lot of success. I mean, speaking of kind of, that was sort of like an MVP Film Scout implementation. We did it.
Minimum viable project. Yeah. So not most valuable
product. Yep. So, yeah. Well, both.
Yeah. In this case, actually could be both.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we, I mean, we put that out. That was a prototype. That was a test. We ultimately bought a movie. We distributed it. You know, we've had success with it. We've learned a lot from it. We want to do it again, maybe level up even and work with some more distributors. But we think, I mean, the feedback we got was that was really a lot of fun, but it was also added a lot of value to the company. Yeah. And so we want to do it again. So even if you can't get to Sundance, you know, you should be ready. We're going to get signed up for Film Scout. We can post some links here. And if you can get to Sundance, I know we've said this before, but I'll say it once again. Don't be intimidated by Sundance. If you're worried about the expense or the, you know, how hard it is or whatever, going to Sundance with the Legion M community, I think is really like, it's a bucket list. I mean, everyone in our community should try it at some point in time. You know, flights are relatively cheap to Park City. I know from the Bay Area, it's like $130 round trip or something, which is ridiculously cheap. And you can find accommodation, especially if you get a group of friends together and you all share like a condo or something. There are tons of these condos available. They're a few $100 a night, but if you split it between
28 ways.
If you have 50 people staying in there. But then the thing that people don't, I mean, you will spend some money on food and, you know, cocktails and things like that. But a lot of Sundance, that's paid for by sponsors, right? So like, you know, at the Legion M Lounge for the last 2 years, and we don't, you know, we're still working on what it's going to be this year. We've had more food and beer and wine and stuff to give away than we can possibly give away. So come drink our free beer and wine and cocktails and eat some free food. I mean, literally, like that's a big expense for a lot of these trips. And it's, you know, you might get tired of eating the Legion M Lounge if you ate it the whole time.
The whole time.
But there are other places to go too. Yeah. But anyway, I can't stress enough. Sundance, I mean, Sundance is a bucket list. Sundance with Legion M is sort of next level, really cool experience. And, you know, you'll not only have fun, but you'll be adding value to the company by helping us, you know, if we can choose another film next year, that would be really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you can't get to Sundance, don't despair. We're going to be doing it again, the whole scouting from anywhere. And you can actually go to legionm.com/scout and sign up. If you didn't sign up last year, or if you're new to Legion, if you don't know what this whole Film Scout thing is, I encourage you to go to legionm.com/scout.
Yeah.
There's a great Forbes article that they wrote about us last year. There's all the information about how you can sign up. It's completely free. We're going to have an all-new platform this year, learning from the best of what we did last year. And it's a lot of fun. I know that it's a lot of fun because I took it to my wife to do it. Like, this is when I knew we had a hit, right? Because I take it to my wife. I'm like, hey, can you try this out for me?
Spousal approval.
Yeah, you got to understand. My wife is married to me,
whatever.
And so I'm always coming to her. She's like, "Oh my God, like, do I have to do it now?" Anyway, I'm like, "Yeah, just give it a try. Just spend like 5 minutes with it. Let me know if it works." And an hour and a half later, she was still doing it. And so that's when I knew that we had something that was real.
Well, and by the way, the cool thing about the way Film Scout is designed is you can literally go in there and spend 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever you want, or you can spend 2 hours. Either way, you're adding value. So the way it's set up is, you know, there are some incentives for going the distance, but it still adds value even if you're just going to check it out. And do it.
Last year, if you took all the time that people invested in it across all the thousands of people that did it, it was over 1 man year worth of effort. And that's what makes it really cool. We had 35,000
votes on the platform from thousands of. So we want to it's got to be let's blow it out.
We're going to blow it out.
Let's blow it out even bigger this year. And, you know, on that note, so we had Memory, it released, and, you know, it got a small theatrical release. And if you're looking at box office on Memory, no one was expecting us to we're not expecting to recoup on the box office, but where we are expecting to recoup is on VOD and DVD. And in some of those categories, it's the bestseller in DVD right now. Yeah. which is amazing on iTunes. Right?
Yes, yeah. For VOD.
For VOD,
DVD.
not but the DVD sales have also been strong.
DVD sales are strong. Yeah. So if you have, the movie came out October 4th, but it was only available in theaters and to rent.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, it became available to purchase. Yeah. So if you can purchase it on anywhere that iTunes, VOD is available.
Yeah.
The more what was great was because there were so many people that had pre-ordered it that it went right straight to the top on the bestseller list.
Yeah,
so,
which is amazing. And then just this morning, so RogerEbert.com had given it a 4 out of 4 stars and written a really nice review. And they just today, because Rob had reached out to them to let them know that the purchase was available, they did another review. The editor came back to Rob and told him that it was one of the best movies he'd seen all year.
That's amazing.
Which is incredible. And then they put it across all their social posts, so it just went out to like millions of people. So there, this is it's a gem.
You know what that shows?
And this movie, this is one thing, just to reiterate, we've mentioned this before, but Memory is a movie that we own the rights to, right? And so we will be monetizing that movie for 20 years. We have 20 years to monetize that movie and to recoup our investment. And, every new investor that comes in, we want, their homework assignment is if they're into docs like this, they should watch that movie. Because it's got great reviews. It's 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. RogerEbert.com calls it one of the best movies of the year. It's worthwhile. So, we have an opportunity to, keep building on that project. And that was the movie we bought using the Film Scout codes.
It just goes to show how smart
the Film Scout
the crowd is, the Legion. So.
They got it right. Jay and Silent Bob update. So we should do a quick update there. You probably saw some of the stats. The 2-night screening blew it out, was really successful. As far as Saban's concerned, it over-delivered what they...
Saban's the distributor.
Yeah, Saban is the distributor.
On that one, we're in a different position. We're an equity investor in the film.
Yeah, in the film and the tour.
And the tour.
And the tour, I think we've already said this, but it's clear. You go to the tour website, literally everything's sold out. They've doubled the size of the tour. They keep adding dates. It's just incredible. And
if you get a chance to go, you should go. Because having seen Kevin Smith in person,
he
and Jay, the two of them together. First of all, this is a really good movie. People kind of are dismissive. It's a Jay and Silent Bob sequel. You think
you kind of expect it to just be silly or whatever.
But it's actually a really genuinely good movie.
It's a good movie, but it's also hilarious.
Yes,
and anyway, so it's doing well in theaters, and now it's getting some limited theatrical around the tour, so that's good. And we're in discussions with, by the way, Saban and Kevin Smith are very grateful to the Legion. We've heard that. Kevin's even done a post about it, but they really are supportive and appreciative of our contribution to the success of that project, which is great, because that's important to us to be proving ourselves that way. But it's also,
and the fact that we love Saban and Kevin Smith.
Yeah, we love them, and we love the fact that we're an investor, so we're really kind of helping ourselves. But it's been great, and now it's releasing in the UK, and Clare is over there. Clare, our UK correspondent, is actually I think helping them get even more theatrical release than they expected. Universal has the rights over there, but that's also good because that money flows back into the equity of the film and helps Legion M and our investment. So I think it's gonna get a bigger theatrical release in the UK than I think anyone was expecting.
I think that's a lot due to the success that it had.
Yeah, the success here, but also I think Claire's contacts.
It's mostly, actually, I take that back. It's pretty much Clare. Single-handedly.
Claire's got, I don't know. She must have pictures of people or something over there. She can make magic happen in the UK, which is, by the way, that's a market that we really like. We're looking at
Clare.
Yes, the Clare market. No, the UK. I think the UK is a growth opportunity for Legion M. We're not actively looking for investors there, but growing our free membership there, and they decide to invest, that's their choice. But
and at some point, we'd like to go over and
we need to
conquer the new world, the old world.
All right, so what do we got next? We got gift shares.
Gift shares.
So we're going to relaunch gift shares.
That time of year again. Halloween is over. So,
I mean, we're making it live. I think it's probably going to go live the next day or two. We want to get. I mean, it's we want to kind of double check some of the language on it with our securities lawyer, and just make sure that everything's kind of wrapped up with a pretty bow. No pun intended. But then we're going to do some unique stuff with gift shares this year. So we're not only going to have the gift shares available like we did last year, which, by the way, when we talk about helping us grow the Legion, I think the gift shares is one of the best for the holiday season. I know I gave them out and people love them, and I think we've heard great responses from the people that did buy them, that gave them out to people. If there are people in your world that are passionate about film and television, like, this is just a cool gift, and we're even going to make them. So we've got the standard shares that we did last year, but now we're going to introduce some new ones too, that'll be packaged around IP and maybe come with some specific merch for that title. Like, it might be a memory package or a Jay and Silent Bob package. So we'll have details. We're ironing all that out right now, but we'll hopefully get that launched next week.
Yeah, and that's
plenty of time for the holidays.
Yeah. And that's a great example of something. Like, last year, we did gift shares just as an experiment. We had no idea if people were going to like them or not. The system that we built, it was a total MVP. It was kind of a rickety thing. Like, Eric had to do a lot of manual work, and that's part of the reason, because people have been asking us, like, when are you going to launch gift shares? And a lot of it was, we're like, okay, we know that this is successful, and we need a system that can kind of accommodate all of it. Yeah. And we wanted to be able to double down and do exciting new combinations of shares. But when you get the shares, it's more than just like a gift card, right? I mean, that's the actual share part. But last year, we had this great welcome packet, which a lot of people have said, well, hey, just as an investor, can I just buy a welcome packet? Because it had like a cool Legion M folder, and we had press clippings, and we had the top secret
Refunder had like a little thing at checkout for like $3 or something. You could add a welcome.
You could just get it, and it was not that we're trying to make money. It's just to cover the shipping.
The cost.
Well, and frankly, it also prevents us from sending out a bunch of them to people that are just going to throw them away, and then we're just killing the environment for nothing. So.
Yeah, but no, I think that's cool. And Rob, our publicist, has been already going out to the gift guides.
Yeah, we're trying to get this in the best things to buy.
Best things for holiday season.
For your movie lover friend, or for your office gift pool.
When you think about it, it's a no-brainer. I mean, what else? I mean, how many drones can you have on that list? Like, I mean, you have to.
How many drones can you have?
Right.
Period.
I don't know.
Actually, I don't know that there's enough drones. Like,
that's true. They keep getting better.
Yes,
so.
I would love to have that.
Don't take the drones off the list.
By the way, if you're looking for a gift for us, drones.
Drones,
good.
As long as they have a Legion M stick.
Yes,
Legion M drones. Yeah.
We need a Legion of drones. Like, that would be kind of cool. What if we could? Anyway, okay, we're getting off topic, and we're definitely running out of time.
Are we running out of time? All right, Girl with No Name update. All right, so fulfillment, it's actively happening right now. I think packages are being shipped out. Almost all the packages will be shipped out by probably middle to end of next week. And then the only one item that isn't shipping next week is the hardcover. That's taking a little bit longer, so that's going to ship out in December. But otherwise, it's coming out. And as that gets out there, first of all, we can't wait for everyone to get it and to read it.
It came out fantastic, by the way.
No, it's awesome. Really everybody that's seen it is raving about it. But we have some kind of follow-on activities that I think will be really valuable toward the film. Now that everyone will have access to the comic book and have read it, we're going to do some open development, and that's going to include some really cool stuff with Tanya, the director. And so we'll have word on that pretty soon, probably right after everyone has enough time to read their comic, and then we're gonna implement that.
That's a big push for us.
Yeah, it's really cool. Oh, by the way, we should have mentioned in the round. So we actually now support all states. So we added Nebraska a couple weeks ago, and then just this week we added Arizona finally with the Reg CF. So no fan left behind. Everybody can invest. And so we had a kind of waiting list for people from Arizona, and we wanted to get them into this round. We didn't want to like end this round and go into the next round and, you know, have people in Arizona complaining that they never got to participate in this round. So
yeah, well, and I mean, I don't know if people realize, like, it's a lot of work that we had to do in order to make this work. And, you know, the problem is, as we've explained before, is there's local securities laws in Arizona and Nebraska, as well as about, I think, seven or eight other states that require us to do sometimes like backflips in order to be able to offer the securities in those states. And so, you know, like, if you're just like anybody else.
And when Jeff says backflips, what he really means is a pain in the ass buttload of paperwork.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah. No.
But we do it.
Well, we do it, and it's again, if we were any corporation, we'd probably say this is ridiculous. Like, it's not worth it, you know. But for us, it's a lot of it's like it's the principle of it. You know, you can't, you know, this is a fan-owned entertainment company.
It was hard at the beginning. It got worse, and now it's getting better.
They're getting a little bit better.
So I think Arizona is really the last one.
Yeah.
You know, right,
so
Congressman.
Welcome.
Arizona. Yeah, welcome Arizona.
Arizona.
You are welcome.
And Nebraska.
Yes, and
especially Mr.
Arizona.
What's his name? No.
Buffett.
Yeah, Warren Buffett. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's why
we opened it specifically for you, Mr. Buffett. If you're listening right now,
that was the key.
Send us an email at team@legionm.com.
I mean, we care about everyone in Nebraska, but Warren is kind of like we've got a soft spot.
I love Warren Buffett.
Yeah, we do. All right, so where are we? So new projects. So one of the things, like we've just come through a phase where we had, you know, Jay and Silent Bob and Memory and all these things kind of culminating, and they're still going. But we've been actively working on, like, what are our next projects, and so we have some really cool stuff cooking, and actually we have some things that frankly we're actively working on right now, and then a couple things that we're close to closing on. So we're just basically letting you know that these things are coming. So we've got some amazing, cool new projects, and it involves television, it involves film, and it also involves more engagement, like the way we have with Film Scout, another kind of really unique way of doing it. So anyway, I don't want to be like too secretive. Obviously, we can't announce things until they're completely locked down. And some of the things we're just waiting to kind of get them to a point where announcing them wouldn't sort of disrupt a couple of the elements that we want to have packaged with it when we
it's a really good point. I mean, traditionally in the entertainment space, you don't really announce anything until it's happening, because of the fact that you don't want to let anybody else know that this is something you're working on, because you don't want someone else to like try and scoop it, you know, or to do something that's going to be detrimental to it. And so we're constantly kind of balancing that as far as, you know, when we can announce stuff and what makes sense to announce. But what I love about the stage that we're at right now, and this goes back to the very first part of this discussion, is if you look at the projects that are on our slate in front of, not our slate, but, you know, that we're looking at, that we're considering, projects that are at the table with us, that want to work with us, and we're trying to figure out terms and figure out if we can help it. Where we are now versus where we were even a year ago. It's like it's exponential, and it's all because of the size of the Legion. You know, back when we were 3,000 people, we had access to this many projects, and now that we're 20,000 people and all the stuff that we've done, it's this big. And some of the projects that we're looking at right now are things that we've envisioned like since day one, and we're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could do something like this? And now we've got a partner at the table that wants to do exactly that. And it's really like it's just exciting, and we can't wait to you know, hopefully get them across the line. Like, you know,
some of these for sure will cross the line, and then there's, you know, and so it's just a matter of time before we announce it. And then there are these other things that are like, just, I mean, they're long shots, but they're things that we're working on that, to be honest, could be just completely like shape-shifting for us, like just transformational. You know, like some of the stuff that we've got access to, and we're working really hard on those projects. And we, you know, one of the things that we've had to do just because, you know, we're a small team, is put kind of a moratorium on like new projects. You know, we've got a lot to sort of digest and to get over the finish line right now, like including Grow with No Name, which is something that, you know, we've had success with the Kickstarter. Now we want to get that, you know, financed and into production. But I think, you know, focusing in now on, because as Jeff mentioned, like the stuff that we're looking at is just phenomenal. Every single one of those projects is just amazing. But in order to like make them happen, it you know, it's Guillermo told us when we met with them early on, like nothing happens unless you make it happen. And so, you know, we need to kind of buckle down. We're you know, we're going to do Sundance, but you'll notice we're not doing a bunch of cons like over the next like couple months, because we are like laser focused on making these huge transformational projects happen. And I think, you know, and these are projects, by the way, that the community will be involved in, even in selecting, but also some of them are things that we've already tested or heard from the community that you wanted. So one of which is just like, I mean, when I can't wait to announce it, but you know, we can't announce it before, like there's a reason why we can't share it yet, but it's coming. Anyway, this is like a long update on something where we really didn't say anything, but we just want you to know that there's a lot of energy right now going into some pretty cool new projects that are coming down the pipe.
That's right.
All right. So,
and also a lot of energy into the announcement about the beast. There are beasts on the loose all over the country.
The beast has been released.
Yes, a lot of beasts have been released. We're talking about the Nick Cage beast from Mandy.
Yes, yeah, the axe. It's shipped. They've all been shipped. So if you ordered one, it's in the mail, or you maybe have already gotten it. I know they're arriving now. A lot of them arrived in time for Halloween, which was great. And I think we have isn't there a costume? We did a costume competition for Halloween. For Halloween. But if you got a beast and you have it, like we've seen some really cool posts from people that got their beast, and you know, post it online and tell us about it. And show us.
I'm bringing mine to jury duty.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
For the sentence reading.
So you should have brought it when they were picking the jury.
I hadn't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I would have. So,
all right. Questions? Do we have time?
We've got a couple questions. We should. And there's one other thing that actually we didn't mention, which is Hot Topic.
Oh, yeah.
We have Legion M gear, Mandy gear, in Hot Topic
from Mandy.
Yes,
Mandy, who works for Legion M, helps us get the Mandy gear into Hot Topic. Yeah. Yes, and it's out. It's in stores. It's online. And you know, Hot Topic has been great. They're fired up. And this is kind of like a test to like see, you know, if how that can work out. And we've got, you know, other opportunities with them as well.
It's an exciting step for us as a company to have a retail, you know, presence out there, and to have, you know, I mean, this is hopefully kind of like a first step, but it's just exciting, you know.
Well, and the thing that's cool, and a lot of people don't always realize this, that like it's one thing to get your stuff into Hot Topic and to sell, you know, just for our film Mandy to be sort of received at that level. I mean, Hot Topic doesn't just take anything and put it in their stores. I mean, they might put a lot of stuff online, but if they're going to, you know, pay for the shirts and put them in their store, it's got to have some kind of, you know, vibrations in the world. And not only that, but once it's in Hot Topic, just the fact that it's sitting there and, you know, they have thousands of stores, it's promoting the film. So it's all this kind of, you know, flywheel effect where now if you're in Hot Topic, you know, your film's going to get more exposure. And Mandy, who is our, you know, new VP of merch who came in from Hot Topic, she's done a great job on this. And I think it's a really strategic asset to the company to have this ability. And there's more stuff that she's working on right now that will even, you know, take some of these projects to an even higher level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
We got a couple questions here that we're going to answer, and then we're going to shut up. But Robin Simmons asks, are you getting caught up on the past round certificates? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This has been a complete and utter nightmare, you know, for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to go into it now because it's a long story. And yeah, half of it, probably the first 3/4 of it, is told on. There's a blog post, but we'll be sending everybody an update soon. You know, if you're looking for proof of your Legion of investment, or you want to go back and check and confirm how many shares you bought, all that information is available in WeFunder. So nobody is like unprotected. It's not like anybody's like not going to get their shares or something like that, because there's a signed legal agreement between Legion M and you, which is in WeFunder. You can go back and look at it at any time if you've invested in multiple rounds. It's there. The last part where we've just been hung up is you know, getting like the actual computer interface where you can log in and see, oh, this is how many shares that I've got. So anyway, it's coming, and we, you know, I don't know what to say. I'm embarrassed at how long it's taken, and extremely frustrated at how long it's taken.
Well, and one of the things, I mean, we accept the responsibility because ultimately it's our responsibility. But so we had a supplier, and that supplier had kind of changed their business model, and so it was going to be prohibitively expensive for us to continue with that supplier. So we needed to find a new supplier. We found a new supplier. That new supplier had some technical issues that we needed to work out. Then we came back, and we thought we might actually get the original supplier to reconsider on the business model. We came close. We spent some time negotiating and talking about that. Ultimately, they said they were, but they didn't really change the price at all, so it didn't matter. Like, so now we're back to you know, where we were before, and now we just need to kind of finalize it.
Anyway, so there'll be some announcements on there soon. But
sorry.
Okay, speed round. John Grievous asks, any update on the Stanley Icons project?
Good question. No, that would.
Nothing really.
Nothing really.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's something that we're still, you know, working on, and it's something that we have discussions, I would say, at least once a month about with various partners. But there's some challenges there, and there's nothing that we can update as far as the release on
It's still definitely a project that we want to like move forward. And that
footage is still, I think, as valuable, if not more valuable, than it was the day that we shot it.
Yeah,
and
so we have it. It's an asset.
And it's still excruciatingly high detail. There's still not a screen on the planet that could show it in all, or at least a commercial screen. There might be something in a government lab someplace that can show it in all of its glory. So it's still, we don't think it's losing any value. It's just, you know, there's some things that need to get taken care of. A lot of them on the legal front, you know, dealing with, you know, after Stanley passed away, that created challenges. Just anyway, we didn't need to get into any of that. But anyway, Ellen Gray asks, if we were a scout last year, do we need to re-sign up? The answer is no.
If you were a scout
we've got your information.
You're a scout this year.
You are a scout for life. You never, you never
like the mafia.
You can
Once
try
you're
and
part
get
of
out.
Film Scout,
just try and unsubscribe, Ellen Gray. I challenge you.
Yes, we will find you.
Nathaniel Coy asks, will there be a representative at Emerald City Comic Con?
It's a good question. That con came up just recently in a discussion, but I don't have anything like, you know, concrete to share. That's in Atlanta, right?
No, that's in Seattle.
Yeah. Nothing to share right now.
Nothing that we know.
Yeah, clearly.
But we're not the right people to ask about stuff like that. Nikki Ackerman asks, what about Pitch Elevator? That's another one.
Yeah.
It's a dagger through my heart. There's no updates. We have not concluded it yet. Obviously, we keep talking about that's been a long saga. That was something that at the time we were ready to go with. We then had a streaming partner who wanted to do it as like a show, and so we held off for that. And then they ran into some issues that caused some delays, and then they ended up restructuring their development team, and it kind of fell off. And so we are committed to still finishing the whole program.
Yeah.
We don't at this point expect that it's going to be a streaming series, you know.
I mean, the way I would describe it is
season one is not going to be a streaming series.
Yeah.
We still think that it could be an amazing
season one,
series.
And we need to award a winner.
Yes.
And get that done. as far as like developing that into its own TV series, I would say that it's taken on a lower priority toward other projects that have just come in and to be honest, have just are much more like larger potential impact for Legion M. And so we wouldn't want to like, neglect these bigger opportunities for that. And so, and in fact, we do have a similar, TV series, one element of that is still kind of getting some traction. And we'll have more information on that.
It's also something that aside from like, if you think of it as like a TV show in a traditional sense, right, versus like a streaming show, that's something that gets streamed on some, platform, multimedia, versus an activation, something that we do that could potentially tour the country. Right. And like the process, the whole pitch elevator process is not necessarily the show, but it's a way for people to submit ideas, to go through the vetting process that spits out concepts that become shows. That's also very interesting to us. And so, again, this is a project where we talk to people about this on a very regular basis. And a lot of sponsors are really interested. Like, a lot of events are really interested. Like, there's definitely a really cool kernel nugget on this that we think is valuable and has potential, but it's just there's not been kind of the opportunity that's presented itself. But it's one of the things that we talk about. This is not
unlike Icons, where the bigger Legion M gets and the more sort of parts of the value chain we're participating in, the more likely we could just do pitch elevator on our own. Right now, to do pitch elevator, we need a sponsor. Like, we don't want to put all our money against that. Just hope for the best. We would want to monetize it, make sure that we do it in a way that makes money and provides this kind of, creative input and IP engine. And I think, as we scale and we get bigger, that will be something that we'll probably be able to re-examine. But right now, at the size that we are, I think it's a challenge.
We love it. We still love the concept. We'd love to do something with it. We just haven't found the right thing yet. So,
or the right sponsor.
That's right.
All
right. Well, that's way more than the time that we had allotted.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for
sticking with us.
Thanks, everybody.
Onward and upward.
Onward and upward.
Is that the end? Do we have like a little skit?
I don't know. No, I don't have a skit. Did you?
So long. Farewell.
All right.
That's all that I know. All right. Take care.